Well, sometimes it'll start after 3 or 4, 7 or 8 fucking tries. But it might have had its day. It's a regular key. Now I can't get it started at all. Okay, follow up on the 2014 Honda Accord starter problem. Went ahead and took the old starter out, ordered a new one. Time was sensitive, so hopefully this is it. I'll still show you how to get the old one out. Use a 14 millimeter, I use a deep and regular, 12 millimeter, and a 10 millimeter for the battery. There's only gonna be one nut, one long bolt, one other little bolt, and that's about it. Just jacked it up right next to the oil pan, right there. Put some blocks in, the old school way, I guess. This is our, your starter's gonna go up in here. Here's your oil pan. Right up in here. And you can see your crank. So, this just came off that tab. You push this little thing forward, pull off. Here's your other connector. Oh, not that one, not that one. This one, simple. Pop that off, push down, pull out. Here's the other, here's the main lead for it. It's gonna be this boot. You're gonna wanna peel that up with a screwdriver or something. And then there's gonna be a bolt on it, which I'll show you. Sets in there like that. You gotta get it around the wires, which is the other pain in the ass. Which I'm not gonna put it all the way in, because fuck that. So, let me pull out and show you. Remember this boot right here, that boot, because that's just the trickiest part. I'll show you that next, how to get that off. All right. Since it's a scorch out here, you'll need an ice cold beer. Pretty much goes in, if you're laying under the car, just like this. There's that connector, that other harness clicks to this, and then that boot is gonna wrap around here. You gotta flip it up, or I think you flip it from the back. I kind of just use my fingers, you don't really need a screwdriver. And that's gonna be this nut. We'll be connecting your main lead, which is a 12 millimeter. And then you'll be in place, obviously. So you take this long bad boy. And that is gonna go down into there. You're gonna have to just feel for it. So I'll shoot the video of reinstalling that one. And then obviously this one. Tighten them up, make sure all your connectors are good. So see how putting the new one goes, if it works. Okay, installing the new one. Whew, what out of breath, but a pain in the fucking ass. So there's that long bolt. It goes into there. You'll see it when you have it out of the box and all that. There's that other bolt. Where is it? Right there. So I just put that one in first, just to get it to hold. As I fidgeted with that, I held the starter up with my other hand, and it takes a little bit to get it in there. I just did it finger tight for now. Maybe I should have greased it, because it was a pain in the ass getting out anyways. I couldn't really do it by hand until the very, very end. So that's getting it back in. Now I'll show you how to get well, we'll tighten the whole unit back in, then we'll do our hookup. And then we'll turn the key and see what happens. Alright, so I'd like to add that it's like 90 degrees out, and I'm in a garage in a townhouse building, so a little brew had never hurt. Alright, there's that bolt head, 14 millimeter. I use my socket with just a deep well on it because it's hard to get in that gap. Another note, when you're loosening it, watch that gap so you don't back it out against that and then you're stuck. You know, I just use a no extension. This one down here, I had to use an extension deep well. Brought the ratchet handle up first. Try and show you. Brought it up through here. Now then you could get your cranking. Now I got those tight. Now I gotta hook all the connections back up. Have fun with that, but just note, remember that long bolt. That guy up there. Just remember how long the threads were. Don't get impatient. Keep holding the starter up so it doesn't sag and you cross thread. But when you're on a jack like this, I'm jacked here again. I got some wood blocks. Probably not the safest way, but who really gives a shit? It's better than paying 550, 600 bucks. So now I'll follow up with the connections here in a minute. Okay, here's this boot. Just gonna connect to that. Save yourself from some aggravation. Roll this back out of the way. Can't do it with one hand. That's what I'm gonna do. Roll that completely out of the way and connect it. Otherwise it's a pain in the ass. All right, everything is back connected. That is connected into there. There's your boot. Goes over that bolt. You said you fold the rubber back. Goes in a lot easier. This, we'll click onto that tab. Fairly easy, just push this forward just like the way you removed it. This, however, if you do get a new part, you might want to check the size of the new nut it comes with. I mean, I just like to use the new hardware they give anyway, but after being under the car, I didn't have that size. It was a 1/2 inch in my case for like a DURALAST, so everything's plugged back in. And look at that. She's alive. So just a quick review. Once you get under there, you don't really have to take anything off to get to it. There's gonna be that big long bolt that goes in there. Real long threads, comes all the way out to here, which is a 14 millimeter. And there's this bolt, which is a 14 millimeter as well. But first, you're gonna unhook here, your harness from here, and then this is that boot deal. You pull the boot back from this way. Try and roll it up as much as you can. This is a 12 millimeter on the stock issue. And once you get that off, well, you do all the wires first, then you do the bolts. I'd take the top off first. Then it's pretty much just the same thing, put it back in. This is the main thing, is check the size of the socket for this if you're using the new nut, because they love changing everything. And then make sure you get that boot pulled really far back. I got it, you know, like I showed in the video, just so it's not in my way. There's a nice lock nut you got to put on there, which is a pain, but after that, just tighten everything back real tight and snug. Hook your wires back up. So I swapped the old one onto the new one, and I'll give them an email, but it was a pretty simple job. The video I watched before didn't show some of the hard stuff, just a little bit of the trip, you know, the tips, and he had a lift, which is way nicer, but this is, you know, jacked up, so hope it helps.